We are back with another episode of From the Rafters. Sam and I are here recording on Monday, May 24th, in between games 1 and 2 of Celtics versus Nets in round 1. Game 1 didn't necessarily go according to plan, but I'm going to jump right into it. I'm not too upset with game 1, considering the first half at the very least. Obviously, the offense wasn't all there in the second half, but as a whole, I thought they fought pretty well against a fairly stacked Nets team. So I'd love to know your
Fairly
initial
stacked.
thoughts. I mean, yeah, I'm putting it lightly.
Well, I agree with you that there are good things from that game, but I'm still pissed because they missed a big time. What did I tell you guys on the pregame? I think I was doing 3 keys, and I literally said, you have to play a full game. I wouldn't be surprised if the Celtics come out on a hot start, and then they lose it. That's exactly what they did. But to their defense, they played really well defensively throughout the game.
Yeah.
The problem
so
was
much you can do against.
What did they
KD
score?
in that mid-range?
15 points in the fourth quarter, something like that.
It was like 20.
Horrible.
It was not good. Yeah.
No way they got that high.
Yeah, it was 20. I'm fairly sure it was. They scored 20 in the first, 21 in the third, and then 20 in the fourth. So horrible. 3 not great quarters, and like you said, they played well defensively. It's just the offense wasn't there.
I'm pissed because I'm not so sure that they're going to get another chance.
Yeah.
At the very, very least, to steal another game.
Yes.
Like, on the road. Like, I'm not saying that this means they'll get swept because I think we saw good things from them. I think they showed us that they can play hard. I mean, they played extremely hard throughout the whole game. You got a good performance from Jabari Parker. He was a surprise off the bench. Marcus Smart played well in his role that's going to be larger this series, even though people don't like him shooting. He's probably going to have a game where he doesn't shoot well. People are going to be pissed. They're going to say he shouldn't be shooting as much. But I'll tell you what, he played well in game 1. That's what they need him to do. Is just he's going to have to figure out how to impact the offense because they don't have Jaylen Brown. Fournier didn't do anything. Jaylen Brown did nothing too, sitting on the bench. Jason Tatum didn't do anything in the second half.
Scored
Kemba
0
Walker
field goals.
Decided
0
to
field
wait
goals
till
in the second half.
Yeah, he waited till the game was over to make threes at the end. Mm-hmm. They still only lost by 11, and to me, it was really less than that. I mean, they were in the game.
Yeah. See, I mean, you could flip it that way, which I agree with, and I understand. Like, oh, they're not going to always have this off night. You know, they'll bounce back and they'll be fine next week. But at the same
Brooklyn
time,
too, they're not going to have
exactly.
An off night
That's what I was going to say.
In Celtics, and I'm sorry if I'm interrupting you, but
you're good.
In the Celtics' defense, they had a hand in Brooklyn's off night. I mean, Robert Williams had 9 blocks. He was excellent. I didn't even mention him. Clown me. He was excellent, incredible, franchise record for blocks in a playoff game. They were scared to shoot around him. Literally 1 for 13, 14 when he was defending guys. He was excellent. He's going to play tomorrow. That is what they say. He was everything that every player on the team should be. And I don't think that they, what you can control thing is a big deal. Brad Stevens, he will say it. I bring it up as a key on the pregame, but it's true. And they, to their credit, pretty much did control what they could control. The only issue I have is I think they settled a lot in the fourth quarter when they were struggling for jumpers. But they weren't getting calls on the inside, which, I mean, it wasn't that skewed. It's funny, early on, I said to my dad, we were watching the game, I said, you watch, like, they're getting calls now. It's going to flip completely. It's just always how it happens. They will get a favorable whistle early, or whoever does, and then it flips.
Yeah, no. I mean, Robert Williams blocked 8 of the 13 shots that were put up on him, and he blocked 1 shot that he was on a guy that wasn't even guarding. So he blocked 8 of 13. What's that percentage? Let me do some quick maths. Out of all of the shots...
No, it's not. It's like
61.5%. Robert Williams blocked 61% of the shots that were taken on him. He has more blocks and missed field
goals in his career. Did you see that stat today?
Yeah, I did. It's like... It's such a shame that they wasted such a dominant defensive performance from Robert Williams, obviously. But, I mean, as a whole, the team played great on defense. So it was fairly annoying to see them waste it. Yes.
That's what I'm saying. I feel like I'm not saying I don't think they can win at the Garden because I do think they played really well yesterday. Saturday. Sorry, I'm used to one day in between. I'm very sorry. I think they played well. I think they gave a good effort. They showed us some stuff, and they kind of played a bad game offensively at the least, you know. And
Yeah.
one thing I don't get is Tristan Thompson. Why are they switching everything when it's not necessary? I understand the
Yeah.
switch everything philosophy, but if you're not getting hit by somebody, if you're not getting stuck on a screen, then like why are you just conceding that?
It's frustrating because he got cooked. And I will say, on the other hand, it does, I guess, in some aspect, it does entice the Nets into bad shots. Because some of those looks they were getting on Tristan Thompson, yeah, they cooked him, but they weren't necessarily good looks. Do you know what I'm saying? Like, they
You're
funneled
right.
him to the paint, they got step back looks. They're like, oh, Tristan Thompson's on me. Let me do some stupid shit, which I'm not saying that is an excuse to switch
I
like
don't
that
think they're
because
going
I
to do
still
that
think it's
next
bad,
game.
but I would hope so. But
I'm
I
talking
think
about
if
Brooklyn.
they, yeah,
I
no,
don't think
yeah.
Brooklyn is going to play. I don't understand why they didn't just drive on him every single time.
Yeah, I mean that's James Harden for you, and it's just like it doesn't make any sense. But from the perspective of the Celtics had an off shooting night, if they can play that good of defense and then have an on shooting night, they'll be fine. I agree with that to some degree. I just think, like you mentioned, like I mentioned, I don't think Brooklyn's gonna have another off shooting night because as good of defense as the Celtics played, the Brooklyn Nets also missed a ton of easy shots. Like you're not gonna have all three of their big three. They combined to shoot, I think, 3 of 24 from deep or 5 of 24. Like that's not going to happen. Like even if they're contested, like those guys are going to make those shots. So it's tough to waste a game like that. But also want to say, from the perspective of, I just want them to go out there and try to put up a fight. They did that. They
No, they
didn't
did.
go down. You know
It
what I'm
was a
saying? So
respectable game.
yeah, and like Tristan Thompson, excuse me, in his press conference today, he basically was like, I mean, if you got Kyrie Irving, James Harden, and Kevin Durant, I would hope they're going out there with confidence. What the fuck are you talking about? Someone asked him like, "Are you concerned that the Nets are just have all the swagger and think they can just discard you?" And he was like, "I mean, they have three of the best players in the league. I would hope they're confident. Like, what are you talking about, bro?" So it's just this. All the odds are stacked against the Celtics, and it's just I want them to take a game, maybe two. Realistically, I don't think they win the series. Maybe they prove me wrong. Maybe they pull off a miracle, but like from what we saw in game one, I'm somewhat more hopeful than I was before the series started. I will say though. Would you agree with that?
I'm actually less hopeful because
Really?
I think if well, not in terms of how many games they're going to win, but I think it's in terms of winning the series. I think if they were going to win the series, they had to go get game one.
I don't think so.
That
I don't think so because
just looking at it, that's I mean, look at the opportunity they had. We already talked about it today, Jack. You said it yourself. The Nets aren't going to play like that again. Like they missed a big opportunity to take a lead in the series, to steal home court advantage. I mean, even we will probably get to it later. We talked a little bit last time about fans. I mean, game 3, they're not going to have a full house. It's game 4. They have to wait.
yeah.
So really, they're home. They're kind of not getting any advantage for game 3.
Yeah, I just think that the defense, I was mostly concerned about the Celtics defense coming into the series. And so the fact that they were able to play solid defense has me more hopeful than the start of the series. I think the offense will come. Their offense hasn't been terrible for the majority of the season. It's actually been pretty decent. So if they can continue to play that level of defense, even if the Nets score, say 115 instead of 104, which is 120 maybe even, I think if the Celtics turn their offense on, they can cook the Nets. I think they really missed an opportunity to cook the Nets defense because the Nets defense was solid, but it's not going to be able to stop Jason Tatum. We saw that in the first half. Tatum just stopped being aggressive in the second half, which I also don't understand. What
He
happened to
wasn't really
Jason
getting the
Tatum in the second
ball.
half? But why, though, is my question.
I don't even like my first instinct was to think like maybe Marcus was taking a lot of shots. Fournier didn't get the ball either. That was
Yeah,
upsetting.
who's getting those looks? Kemba Walker got all
Kemba,
the looks. They kept trying to get him back into it, trying to get him back into it. Stop giving him the ball if he misses 3 in a row. Give it to Fournier. Give it to Tatum. You have other offensive options. Stop feeding the hand that's not making shots. Like Jason Tatum was on fire in the first half, and then they just stopped giving him the basketball. That
I mean,
makes
he
no
wasn't on
sense.
fire that much. Like
He was.
he started 3 for 3, and then he missed. What was he like 6 of 18 at half or something? He wasn't that incredible. He was all right.
But he was the
He
best
had a
player on the Celtics.
yeah, he was.
So how are you not going to give him the ball in the second
No,
half?
I
He didn't
agree.
touch
I'm
it.
just saying he wasn't like amazing.
I know, but he was confident. He was attacking the
He was
rim.
confident.
He was getting to his spots, and then in the second half, he was just kind of like, it's okay. Let the other guys do it. No, Jason, you can't do that. They're the guy. There's nobody on the Nets team.
There are times to defer to other people, but it's like not when
not when
nobody else
Kemba's
is doing
shooting
anything.
so bad. No. And I looked into the numbers. Celtics shot 36.9% from the field. Terrible. Absolutely terrible. But I looked at the games over the course of the season, and obviously this doesn't necessarily mean much because they're playing the Nets twice in a row. But in games directly following a performance where they shot below 40% from the field, they always shoot 44% or better. They always bounce back. The Celtics always find a way to bounce back. And they also failed to hit their 3-point magic number. Sam, do you know what that magic number is? I'm serious. Trust me. Do you know what that magic number is?
Is it like 13 plus?
No. Percentage.
Oh,
3-point
percentage?
efficiency. What's the magic number?
Oh, it's like, is it 38%?
37.
So I was close.
You were close. And the Celtics were close too. The Celtics shot 36.7% from the field in that game. So it's not like they were that far off. But they didn't hit the magic number, Sam. And you want to know why that magic number is key? When the Celtics shoot below 37% from three, they are 7-23 this season in the regular season, including the play-in. When they shoot above 37 or better, they're 29-13. That number is so significantly better than when they shoot below. Like, it's not like, oh, they're a few games better when they shoot better. No. Celtics don't make their threes. They don't win the game. And they didn't make their threes enough on Saturday.
That's the problem, though.
Yeah, exactly.
And listen, they are playing the Nets, so it's a little bit of a different story. But throughout the season, you should have no problem winning games. Well, I wouldn't say no problem, but you should be able to regularly win games with this team that you don't shoot the lights out. And that's been the reoccurring issue, why they're so inconsistent, because they were relying so much on their offense to win games. And some days you just don't have it. That's how the game works.
And isn't it ironic that it switched in game one? Like, oh, they relied on their defense, but they still didn't do it because the offense that was being so relied on couldn't show up. Like, that's just irony.
It's irony. It's frustrating because, like, I just feel like they missed a huge opportunity. And, like, I feel like that might screw them over. Like, I don't know if they're going to be able to steal a game in Brooklyn. Like, if you really, because they have to do, if they want to win the series, they have to do that.
They have to. Yeah.
And I think that is probably going to be their best shot.
What, tomorrow, you're saying?
No, Saturday. It was their best shot. Like, I don't know if you're going to get another chance like that.
I don't know, man.
You might not even get that in Boston, but at the very least, they're not going to get one in Brooklyn, I don't think.
Yeah. The one thing that's having me hold out hope, and you can say this is like a biased thing because I'm a Celtics fan or whatever,
I'm biased too.
Is exactly.
But I'm trying not to be.
Yeah, the Nets didn't impress me as much as I thought they did. As I thought they would. Obviously, they made their shots. Obviously, they came out swinging. But they fell into the trap of Robert Williams. They came out slow. They only started making shots in that third quarter when KD took over, which he can do. I'm not saying they can't do because they have a big three. But for a team that has all the pieces, they have all the stars, the fact that they haven't played together yet showed a little bit in that first half. And that gave me just a glimmer, glimpse of hope.
What did I tell you and Tim? If I'm going to play the Nets in the playoffs, I want to play them early.
Yeah.
And I didn't want to play that right there's exactly why. And the problem is all those things you just said happened, they still won. So it doesn't matter.
Yes.
They're only going to get better.
Yes, but they didn't play that good defense. Like, most of Kemba's shots were open. Most of Jason Tatum's shots that he missed were open. It's just a matter of making them. And if the Celtics can make some of those shots, I think they can steal a game in Brooklyn. And I don't think I'm crazy for saying that. Maybe it's a hot take, obviously, because the Nets are so heavily favored. But with the way the Celtics defended the big three, with the way Robert Williams played, and keep in mind, Robert Williams played like 22 minutes. Like, he didn't play big-time minutes. And I think if they want to win, he has to. And I know it's tough with that turf toe, but I think you bench Tristan Thompson for a little more, try to get Robert Williams to push through to steal a game in Brooklyn. And then if they don't steal this game in Brooklyn, you go back to 22 minutes and you try to take some in Boston. I think you have to play Rob 30 in Brooklyn. And I know that's tough on his toe. And I know he's in a low-key minutes restriction, whatever. If they want a chance, they got to play Rob 30. And they got to, attack the Robert Williams pick and roll that the Nets can't defend, They need to put in Jabari Parker. Hell, I think Grant Williams could match up well against the Nets.
I think Grant should get more minutes.
Yes.
Because especially if they start the same group they started Saturday night with Blake Griffin at center, I mean, they should absolutely start Grant. Mm-hmm. That's his time, Jack. You love small ball center Grant.
Yeah. Fun fact, Blake Griffin didn't attempt a shot. I don't think Blake Griffin did not attempt a field goal.
He sucks
in that game.
But
I mean, yeah.
I don't know. It's really tough to try and think about what could happen when like they shut down the Nets and like they still lost. Like that's a problem. And that's not good. Like
Yeah.
they gave them a really good punch and they still lost. Like,
I think they
yeah,
can do
the
it again, though.
offense
But
wasn't
I think
good.
they can do it again.
I mean, I hope you're right. I don't really know. It's hard for me to say. I don't know why I don't like committing to those things, like thinking they can do it again. Just because what's on the other team is just so good. Like even in the first half when they were playing well, it was really hard to get comfortable because KD can take over a game. Like I'm not even talking about the other two guys because I don't fear them as much. Just because
I don't feel Harden as much. I fear Kyrie. He makes the shots. He's big time, and I know
kind of, but I don't know. It's KD is just on a different level. Whether you fear Kyrie or not, KD is like at the same level as like having LeBron on the other team. Whereas you don't want you can't feel safe because that guy can just turn the game and like he can get whatever he wants. And it makes it really hard when you're playing a guy like that to win when you're in this position. I mean, like I said, you had probably your best punch and you lost.
See, I don't think that was their best punch though. I think defensively, yes, and I think they can replicate it. But offensively, they were terrible. And as much as Brooklyn was also bad, yes.
And the problem is, I mean, at the end of the day, they only allowed 104 points. But in the second half, what did Brooklyn have at the half? I want to say they had 46 points.
47.
47. So they allowed 57 second half points, which isn't a massive amount, but it felt like Brooklyn was getting whatever they wanted. At least in the third quarter, they did. They had that one quarter where they killed them. Celtics had the door wide open for them in the fourth quarter. They couldn't get in the game, which was frustrating.
And I don't think that'll happen again, though. I think the Celtics got that opportunity again. I think they'll be smarter because I think Brad Stevens saw that and they took the wrong shots in a sense. Because like you said, Evan Fournier didn't get looks. Like they should have drawn up plays, and it's all hindsight, obviously. But in a 7-game series, hindsight matters because you have an opportunity to try it again against the same team. And so I think if they go out there and play a similar style of defense, and Robert Williams gets even more minutes, even bump him up to 24. 22 over 24, that's fine. You play Parker more maybe over Thompson because Parker wasn't even that bad defensively.
No, he wasn't. He was pretty good.
Because they went at him and he stood his ground. So I think you can put up even a similar defensive performance. I think even if you let up like 110, 115 at the most, I think the Celtics can come out there and score more than that. It's just a matter of if they can keep up that defensive efficiency, in my opinion, because I think the offense will come in the second game. I'm not worried about the offensive much. I'm more worried of can they do that on defense again? You know what I'm saying?
Yes. No, and I understand that. And thinking about it to myself, I'm thinking to myself, well, Brooklyn really went 0 for 3 with their big guy, like stars having like a monster dominant game. Like, yeah, they got numbers, but they weren't super efficient. They weren't aside from the third quarter, like on fire, But then I calm myself down. I think about it a little bit more. I'm like, well, Celtics are in the same boat. Tatum was garbage. Kemba was garbage. Fournier was garbage. Marcus Smart was probably their best player offensively.
Yeah, not great.
Which
Robert
is
Williams
fine for him. Too. Good for Marcus. Keep it up. But those other guys.
Robert Williams on offense. We talk about Rob's defense. Rob needs the ball more on offense. And I'm not saying he needs the ball, but I'm saying they need to get him in spots to score. Because he had, 11 points on 5 of 8 shooting. The Brooklyn can't stop his pick and roll. Like, they have nobody on that roster outside of maybe DeAndre Jordan, who is a matchup nightmare in switches, that can stop Robert Williams at the rim. You throw Peyton Pritchard needs more minutes too, and we'll talk about that in a second. They need to get more of those opportunities for Rob. Like Kemba running the pick and roll with Rob Williams is what the Celtics need. And Kemba was getting a lot of, come off the pick, immediately shoot. Let the play develop a little bit because who's going to stop the roller? Even if the roller is Jabari Parker or Jason Tatum, who's going to stop the roller in the paint for Brooklyn? Kevin Durant's going to have to switch, and then that's a mismatch for Kemba. You know what I'm saying? Like, let the play develop instead of just chucking up these shots right off the screen.
I don't mind the shoot off the screen for Kemba when he's playing well. Last game yesterday was not a game where he should be playing like that. But that's like his shot, like that is something he's done forever. Yes. And when you're an NBA player like that, you have supreme confidence. I mean, he should have the green light on that, Jack. And I understand what you're saying. You're absolutely right. Especially when you're struggling and the other team's on a run, you should not be rushing shots. You should be making them play defense for as long as you can and making them work for it.
Yeah, and I really do feel maybe stupidly confident in the Celtics in game 2. Like I think I feel almost too confident, which is probably a problem because I'm going to get.
I'm probably trying to protect myself. I'm the opposite.
Yeah, I'm feeling okay going into game 2 though, because I think if the Celtics can, even if they replicated the success they had early on for one extra quarter, they win that game. You know what I'm saying? They had 3 terrible offensive quarters. Even if they can replicate some success for another quarter, I think they win. And they let things go defensively at the end there. Like Robert Williams was in the game, but everyone else just kind of falling. I don't know. I think they'll play good. I want to talk about Peyton Pritchard a little bit. Pritchard got less than 7 minutes. He got 6:39 in that game, only attempted a shot. And I don't get why necessarily. I'm questioning, Mr. Brad Stevens here, because Kemba Walker was the only guard in the rotation, realistically. I mean, well, Marcus Smart too, but and if you'd like to count Fournier, but there was no guards off the bench. Pritchard was the only guard off the bench that got BT, and he got less than 7 minutes of playing time. And in a game where you're struggling on offense, that really doesn't make much sense to me, especially because Pritchard's a good defender too.
I don't know why he didn't play. Maybe it's just they were trying to keep like one of Kemba and Tatum in the game at once. I mean, at all times.
But still, dude,
I know I'm with you. I don't know. I'm trying to think. Just like maybe they wanted Tatum to be the one bringing up the ball. Like they wanted the ball in his hands. Like, yes, Pritchard can play off the ball.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Pritchard doesn't need the ball.
But
like,
then he's
smaller.
Need offense. Like,
but who cares? The Nets play small. Like, there's an answer to all these questions. And I'm not saying you're going to give me an answer I haven't heard of. This is more rhetorical. Like, Brad Stevens, what are you doing? Like, how are you not playing Peyton Pritchard in this series where it's a small ball team? They play tons of guards. Yes, their wings are tall necessarily with like Jeff Green and KD, but they're playing center half the time. Jeff Green's a center for them. So to not play Peyton Pritchard when you're struggling so heavily on offense, I mean, KJ loves to bring it up all the time. He's the second highest three-point shooter efficiency-wise in franchise history, right? Like, how are you not playing him in a game where you need offense? He can run the pick and roll, he can defend, he can shoot threes, and he can get to the paint, and he's getting no minutes. And over him is Aaron Nesmith, who, I mean, he made a couple okay shots, but at least you can't play Kemba that long. And maybe that's not great, but he played 26 minutes, and that's not a lot for Kemba. But when Kemba's struggling that much, play Pritchard. Right? Like I feel like it's simple. Like I understand Kemba's a star, but if Kemba's shooting 5 of 16 from the field, and granted 2 of those were in the last 30 seconds where it didn't matter anymore, play Peyton Pritchard, right? I don't know. It's just I hope we see more of Pritchard in game 2. And if we don't and they lose, I'm gonna come right back to this and I'm gonna say I told you so, even though you didn't fight me on it. But I'm gonna say I told you so anyways. Yeah, man. I don't know. I'm looking forward to it. More props to Robert Williams. I mean, franchise record. That was one of the best Celtics playoff performances I've seen in a while. Like he was doing everything right. Like that was
dominant. Yeah, they couldn't come near him. Guys, sorry, guys were afraid to shoot on him. You literally saw guys miss like really badly under the rim because he was around. Like if you play 2K and you like see the Intimidator badge, that was literally what it was in real life. Like. If you want to see what like that is, there you go.
Yeah, I agree. And I'm gonna come at you with another hot take here, and I want your thoughts. Right? I want you to come back at me. I want Luke Cornett in game 2.
Like where though? Like where do you want? Like there are so many guys that you could play instead of him.
Over Tristan Thompson.
Like, yeah, Tristan, like, is tough defensively
but just test it out.
When he gets switched on the perimeter, so would Cornett. And then Thompson, in his defense, like, I don't think he's terrific or anything, but he gave them really good energy, getting offensive rebounds. He had, like, 5 offensive rebounds. I mean, you're going to need that. I just don't think there's room to give Cornett minutes. I think it might be worth a shot, and if he's, knocked down from 3, and he's a good shot blocker too. And, Cornett.
I'm just saying, Luke Cornett would be far and away the tallest player on the court. I mean, KD obviously, but that's not his game. He won't guard Cornet, is my point. Cornet would be a good 6 inches taller than most of the guys that would be guarding him. Maybe 6 is an exaggeration, but and I know he's not built for the post game, but even if you get the ball into him in the post, right? He has it up above his head. Worst case, he tries a couple of those little post moves, and if they don't work, you take him out of the game. Best case, the Nets try to send help because he's too tall for whoever's in the paint. He finds a guy, Nets get in rotation. I think it wouldn't be the worst thing in the world. I don't necessarily, like you said, it's probably tough to find minutes for him. Excuse me. With Tristan Thompson, because Tristan Thompson does bring the energy. But I don't think in a game like that, and I think in game 2, Brad will probably experiment a little more based on what he saw in game 1. I don't think it could hurt to test out some Luke Cornet minutes. Same thing with Grant Williams, but that's a different style of play. But I think Luke Cornet could be okay if he gets some minutes in game 2. And hey, if he does play and he does succeed, I'm gonna come get my respect on the show next time. But yeah, I don't know. What do you think of the rotation overall in game 1? Are you happy with Brad Stevens? Okay.
I think Pritchard should have seen more time.
Yes.
I would have been interested to see Grant at small ball 5.
Mm-hmm.
There wasn't really anything that I was pissed about.
I was shocked at Jabari. I was very surprised. Pleasantly surprised.
I was surprised. But like at the same time, if you really think about it, like he played really well against the Knicks in the last time he really played. So he earned the shot.
Yeah. I mean,
he's a good rebounder.
Yes. Pleasantly surprised. I was very surprised at the little no hesitation 3 he hit off a pass and he just
I was too. Yeah.
That was crazy.
I was really surprised.
I was hyped, but I don't know if you caught this, but in their post-game interview, Kevin Durant, I think it was, one of them, I was on Nets pressers this week, so I heard all they had to say. One of them said one of them said that they got all of their momentum back after that Jabari 3. They kind of went into the huddle and they were like, all right, let's just get our heads in the game. And then they did. I mean, ever since the Jabari 3, the tide kind of turned in favor of Brooklyn, so it's interesting to hear those 3 talk because obviously I heard KD, I heard James Harden, I heard, Kyrie Irving. Kyrie Irving made a comment about the Celtics. I don't know if you caught that, but he basically
said Robert Williams played well. I saw that one.
No. He said, got to be careful around the Celtics. They always got the luck of the Irish surrounding them or some shit.
Go fuck himself.
Yeah, always causing drama. But yeah, I don't know. I'm blindly confident. Is that the word? Blindly confident for game 2. I think the Celtics come out with a win. Maybe it's a hot take, but
I want you to be right. And I'm just trying to protect myself, man. I got my hopes up in the middle of the game on Saturday, and I regret it.
Yeah. I think we all got our hopes up after that first quarter. I mean, the first quarter was electric. I was loving life after the first quarter.
Well, I was pumped.
I was like, oh, they're really going to fight. And I think they will.
I think we're going to get...
I don't think they get blown out in any of these games. And
I hope they don't.
Clip this and ship it if they do, but I don't think they get blown out in any of these games, even if it's a sweep. I think they go down swinging in all 4 games. I'm looking forward to game 2. I'm hyped. Is there anything you wanted to bring up about this game before we move on to a few other topics?
I mean, I hope you're right. I hope they come out and they can play a consistent defensive game. It's just not something we've seen all season. However, they also haven't had chances to practice all season. They're getting that now. Yes. So that's a positive. I hope they can keep it together. That's all I really can say. Because offensively, I don't think there's any guarantees. I just think it's a lot of variables there offensively. Defensively, you can control that. You can control how hard you play.
Mm-hmm. Here's my bold prediction ahead of game 2. Jason Tatum 35 plus. Kemba Walker hits 20. Some solid contribution from Fournier/Smart. One of them. They hold the Nets to under 110 again, and they win the game. There is my hot take.
Hold them. I don't know.
Hey,
I hope you're right.
I'm saying it. I'm putting it out there.
I'll happily be wrong.
I'm putting it out there. Next thing. Fans are back, Sam. I know you wrote something for your work.
I did.
Fans are back at TD Garden. You want to give us a little inside scoop
only
there?
Kind of.
It's not an inside
They're only
scoop,
kind of back.
Almost back. Almost
Friday. I still somebody needs to really work on the governor. Masks. I'm
Tristan
serious.
Thompson tried. Tristan Thompson called him out.
Did he?
Yeah, he did. He basically said Governor, if you're listening, I know you are because you definitely got ESPN or something. We need fans back, man. Come on.
He's
So,
right. No, he's absolutely right. They lift
yeah.
restrictions May 29th. Game 3 is May 28th at 8 p.m. It's a 4-hour difference. What is the difference? Why? Like if you like, there is no harm in doing like making an exception to that. Absolutely none. I really, really hope like people keep pestering the governor because I just can't think of a good reason for him to say no. Seriously, like
I don't know, man.
I mean, we're lucky as it is as fans because they got 3 days or 2 days off between both games here.
Yeah.
So it could have been game 2 today, game 3 Wednesday, game 4 Friday. And you have 0 games with the full house.
Yeah. I'm just hoping they come to play for the fans. Imagine like a stinker on the first game back where they're all there. I mean, I don't even want to think about it. But another Tristan Thompson quote. He brought it to his post game interview today. I'm sure you saw this. It went not viral.
I
but
did. I probably know
big.
what you're talking about.
Tristan Thompson was asked about being a Celtic this season and what it meant.
I saw this actually.
So a quote. It's like history, pride. Being a part of that is definitely an honor. Always loved playing in the Garden. That was a big reason why I wanted to be a part of this team. We just need some fucking fans in the arena.
Okay,
That's what we need.
That's what I heard.
So,
I didn't hear the first part.
Yeah.
But he's right.
Just talking about it.
I think this team, and this is for the regular season too, would have been significantly better with fans. I think there was a lot of times where they could have used it. It's not an excuse because everybody was playing without fans. You know, every team had the same situation. And I'm very excited. I really hope that they manage to get an exception for Friday.
I haven't heard.
I haven't heard anything of them trying.
Mm-hmm.
I just don't see why not. Like you cannot give me a good reason why, if you're the governor, you don't do that, regardless of if you care or not about the game. Mm-hmm. It makes no sense.
Yeah,
it's a 4-hour difference.
I mean, by the time the game's over and everyone's out of the arena, it'll probably be midnight, so you might as well send it. But yeah, I'm looking forward to Game 4 out of any game. Like I said earlier a few minutes ago, I think Game 2 will go surprisingly well. But
people will have to wear masks.
Yeah, of course.
Masks required.
Some people aren't having to wear masks in the vaccinated sections of some arenas, which is interesting. Like I know in Madison Square Garden, they set up vaccinated sections where there's no masks required, which is pretty cool. But we'll see moving forward. I'm hopeful that next season will be a relatively normal season.
Oh, it'll be normal.
Hey, I'm hoping. That's what we said last year.
Unless they have like
a
relapse, it'll be normal.
God, knock on wood, dude. I can't imagine. I mean, pushing through that off season, even with this podcast. I mean, you remember back in the days before the bubble was announced, we were thirsty for content.
Yeah, we had nothing. What the hell we talk? We would talk about like the stupidest shit. And one week I got like really pissed. I said, Jack, like, why are we talking about this?
Yeah, I remember we talked about images started leaking about hotel food in the bubble.
And that's what it was. Podcast. That was when I got really upset. Said,
yeah, dude.
Look what we have to talk about.
That's all we had, man. And I'm glad we got basketball again. But yeah, and I mean that can be a segue into the latter half of our show where we talk about the NBA rather than just the Celtics. I don't know how much playoff basketball you've been keeping up with, but it's been great, man.
I watched the Milwaukee game. I watched some of whatever the game after that was. I think it was. Don't tell me, it wasn't Portland. It was the Clippers game.
Dallas.
Which the Clippers blew.
Love it.
Rondo played well. From what
Playoff
I
baby.
saw, he played well.
Playoff P,
watched
always
the Celtics,
coming up.
Of course. Did not watch the late game either night because I didn't care. I saw some of the Philadelphia game.
Good game.
I saw the Lakers lose. And I did not see the Knicks game, but I know it was a really good game.
Very good game. But yeah, I want to get into some of them. That Bucks Heat series, I'm super excited for. I know you said that was one of the games you watched.
It was a good game.
I mean, talk about
Milwaukee
a way
deserved
to
lose.
Basketball.
Giannis sold. Yes. He was bad. Like he legitimately was not good down the stretch. He missed a bunny. He missed 3 out of his 4 free throws. Got a 10-second violation on the line, which he should get more often, but they don't call it.
Yeah.
I mean, Middleton saved him.
Does that make you more confident as a Bucks fan, though, to say, okay, these guys played so well, then we still won, right? Does that make you more confident
I
in
mean,
the Bucks?
yeah, but that's the same stance I've been taking for the Celtics too. Like,
Yeah,
in terms
yeah.
of Brooklyn, like it's the same deal.
Mm-hmm.
Except the offense wasn't very good. But
Mm-hmm.
Miami made 15 more threes than Milwaukee.
Yeah, it was a lot. Milwaukee shot, let's see, they shot 20 of 50 from three, and Milwaukee shot 5 of 31. So what a difference there. And they still won the game. They still got the job done, which I mean, that's all that matters, I guess, in the
Imagine the
grand scheme of
Celtics winning a game like that where they make only 5 threes.
things. Could never be me. Could never be the Celtics. Never, never, never. But yeah, shout out to Mike Budenholzer for not playing useless players when it matters. Jeff Teague getting 0 minutes. Unfortunate for DeMarco out there in Milwaukee. But I mean, hey, the Heat deserve to lose. They wore the yellow jerseys. Those things are terrible. Like, hey, you're gonna wear those, you're gonna lose the game.
Well, that's Nike, man. I'm happy the Celtics. I think the Celtics have a commitment to traditional playoff jerseys. They'll wear the black ones too, but
You want me to go on Locker Vision right now and try to spoil your fun?
no, I don't want to spoil. I don't want.
I'm
any
gonna go. I'm gonna do
spoilers.
it. I'm gonna do it right now, anyways.
They're gonna be wearing. Let's see. Brooklyn will probably wear Tuesday.
Home
They're wearing the home whites.
No, Brooklyn's wearing City, and
Celtics
Sam.
are also wearing City. Or are they wearing the Earth Day
Celtics.
jerseys?
No, the Celtics are committed to the traditional. They're wearing Icon again. They're
Yeah,
wearing
see,
normal greens.
I'm telling you. I honestly think there's definitely a limit or like a what do they
They
call
have
it?
to
Like a
hit.
threshold they have to
certain,
hit
Yeah.
a certain amount of times wearing the jersey.
So they get it
And
out of the way in the regular season.
And I think that's why they do it so much in the regular season. Because now they don't have to wear them.
It's pretty smart, man, if you think about it. I spent the whole season complaining. I mean, it's not smart if you finish 500, which was an unfortunate way for the season to go, but
they are committed.
I mean,
Celtics are. I mean, so help me God, if they show up to the Garden and they don't wear the home whites,
they've got it. There's no. I mean, they're probably gonna wear a banner. My guess is for games 3 and 4, they'll wear the banner whites and then the home whites in some order. I think that'll not
be good.
I mean, speaking
that's
of
an issue.
Committed to a plan. Speaking of that, Clippers are clowns. I mean, you lose to get the Mavericks in the first round, then you drop game 1. They look like absolute clowns right now, right?
I think they lost to not get the Lakers, not
exactly. I don't care, but they lost to try to get this matchup so they could wait and play the Lakers in the conference finals. And you come out and you lose to Luka, who obviously played super well, but I mean, the Clippers are much better than that Mavericks team, and they still blew it, right? That's not okay. You can't drop game 1 when you did so much to get there.
Yeah, but like. It is one game.
I don't know, man. Clippers did not look good. They did not look good at all. Shout out the Suns beating the Lakers. I know you were probably
Chris
hyped.
Paul with a shoulder injury, and they still didn't even come close.
Yeah, I mean,
they kept him at like 10 points the whole game.
Yeah, I mean, DeAndre Ayton killed it.
LeBron took a shot. Poor guy. I don't know how he still, got him played the rest of the game.
What a clown. He's turning up the heat.
It's
because I think our buddy Tim Shields, go follow him on Twitter, brought it up in the group chat earlier. It was like LeBron's getting older, so he's turning up the tomfoolery or whatever, the flopping to make up for it. He's a clown.
Yeah, they need to put him in check.
They should have suspended him after the COVID thing. I mean,
they need to stop being soft.
Yeah.
The hell is this?
The Trae Young game, I don't know if you saw the clip of him shushing Madison Square Garden. That was big, if you ask me. I mean, I was complaining that last quarter because Trae Young was on his bullshit where he was just drawing fouls, which I mean, I still stand by the statement that it's less Trae Young's fault and more the NBA's rules fault. Like, if the rules is in place, you know what I'm saying? Like, why not?
They need to make it so they can't do that.
I agree. But hey, he made the clutch shot. He shushed Madison Square Garden. He did his ice tray celebration.
Oh my God! They just released a statement about LeBron, like saying why they didn't suspend him.
Oh really?
Yeah. To clarify any remaining misconception, LeBron James briefly attended an outdoor event last week where participants were required to be vaccinated or return a negative test result. Under these circumstances and in consultation with medical experts, it was determined that his attendance did not create risks related to the spread of COVID-19, and therefore no quarantine was necessary. Over the course of the season, there have been numerous similar violations of the league's health and safety protocols, which were addressed with the players' team in a similar fashion.
Clowns. Absolute clowns. They're just, I mean, from a business perspective, yeah, it sucked to suspend him. But from a, perspective of getting respect of humanity, like, come on, dude. You can't do that. Like, that's tragic.
Yeah, he's the worst.
And you see Lakers fans were trying to get DeAndre Ayton suspended, too. And I put out a tweet, and I got some couple pissed off Lakers fans in my mentions.
Good. I'm glad you ruined their days if you did.
Yeah, I just called a bunch of names, but hey, I mean, it's facts. Whatever. Shout out the Wizards. Wizards almost pulled off some upset. Ben Simmons is god awful. I mean, you really throwing the game. You know what he shot from the free throw line, Sam?
No, I didn't get to see a lot of it.
0 for 6.
Yeah, he's horrible.
He's clown. Tobias Harris, though, I mean, he played out of his mind.
He played well. Embiid played all right.
I mean, as much as Simmons didn't score well, he put up 6 points, 15 rebounds, 15 assists. So he did other things, I suppose.
I think if they don't at least make the conference finals, he's gone.
Simmons?
Yeah, I think because he has value and he just doesn't work there.
Yeah.
I mean, he's obviously not contributing to winning. He does. He plays good defense and stuff, but like so do other players. Like,
I mean, they have by far the easiest path to the conference finals, though.
Yeah, literally, like it's a cakewalk. If they don't make it, it's embarrassing.
I hope the Knicks or the Hawks take it away. Imagine that. It's crazy that either the Knicks or the Hawks will be in the conference. I mean, the second round of the playoffs this year. That's wild.
Yeah, it's kind of not good for the league.
Anyways, Blazers taking down the Nuggets. Any surprise there for you, or is it just kind of like eh?
Well, Denver, I don't put any weight into Denver just because they don't have Jamal Murray, and even then, I don't think they're that great. They're all right. They're a good team. They're solid, but they're not as good as Utah, and Utah is in the same boat as not really having a dominant player. Yes, Jokic is a star. Like, I'm not discounting that, but they don't have like we talked about earlier, where it was KD, LeBron type guy, Kawhi Leonard. I only put him in there because he literally carried the Raptors to a title.
Yeah,
type guy on their team that like you worry about. Neither of those teams has that. Second seed in the West. Yep. I mean, Phoenix doesn't really have that, but they have enough. Like,
yeah, they do. I think Devin Booker's there.
He's not on that level, but they have enough. No, they have enough guys that are close to that level.
Okay.
Yeah. You know what I'm saying? I'm not saying he's not there at all, but he's not on that level. They have
the combination of pieces.
It's like the Celtics last year, where they don't have exactly one guy, but they have 3 guys that are pretty close.
Mm-hmm. So, do you want me to tell you how down bad the Nuggets are right now? Because I know everyone talks about the Jamal Murray injury. They're also missing Will Barton and PJ Dozier's out. Yeah. So I know that doesn't seem like much. You know who they played for almost 20 minutes in this game to match up with the guards?
Campzano, whatever the hell the guy's name is, the Argentinian guy.
No, he played 31 minutes, Sam, so that's not even what I'm referencing. They played Marcus Howard for 20 minutes.
I don't even know who that is. I don't know who that is.
Exactly. Do you want to know why? Because he's a two-way player. They played a two-way player for 20 minutes. That's how down bad the Nuggets are this series. So, sorry, Nikola Jokic. I don't think it's going to happen. And lastly, shout out the Grizzlies. I mean, that's crazy. Like, that's what I'm excited for.
It's not that crazy. Donovan Mitchell didn't play.
I don't care.
He's literally like the only dominant player they have on that team. Like, I know, even close.
But regardless, they should have won that game. But they should have won that game regardless.
I don't know. Memphis isn't that bad of a team.
Yeah, but they're not.
And aside from Donovan Mitchell, Utah's not that good of a team. It goes both ways. Like, I'm not shocked.
I wouldn't say that. I mean, the Utah Jazz.
So if Donovan Mitchell doesn't play at all in the series, I know he's gonna play. That this is a hypothetical. You're telling me you don't think the Grizzlies are gonna win?
No, if the Jazz should still convincingly win that series if Donovan
convincingly win that series though, Donovan Mitchell.
Yes.
I don't think.
What? Donovan Mitchell isn't that whole team. I mean, yes, he's their best. I would probably.
He's their only really solid. I don't want to say it like this, but because like Clarkson is good off the bench, and so are other guys. But like, he's really the only guy that's like going to get you like points. You can just give him the ball and rely on it. It's like. It reminds me of
have to play like that. Is my point. I think they're so good of a team they shouldn't have to play like that.
But playoffs, that's how it works. it's different.
I guess so. And I guess you could say that's why they've crumbled in years past. So
Yeah. Like, it reminds me of the Pacers when they had Oladipo. Remember when they were the 4 seed and then he got hurt and they played the Celtics?
Yeah.
Like, it's like the same thing to me.
Okay.
Even though
I still
Utah
think
is
they
a
should.
better version of that team, but it's very similar.
I think the real issue for Utah is, and I'm not going to take credit for this statement. I forget where I heard it. I think it was Through the Wire podcast where I heard it, maybe, or maybe it was King of the Fourth Quarter. He did some podcasts. I listen to him all the time. Utah Jazz take a ton of threes, and they make a ton of threes, right? That's been their whole shtick all season. They shot 25% from deep. And shout out to Dylan Brooks for some great defense. Shout out to the Grizzlies. But you're not going to win games playing like that. And I think I'll give you credit. If you play like that in the playoffs and it doesn't work, and you don't have a backup plan like they have in Donovan Mitchell, they will crumble. Regardless, they should have won this game.
That's
you can't shoot that bad. But you can't shoot that bad regardless.
And
I think the Jazz should still win the game.
Donovan Mitchell is their offensive initiator. So the Utah Jazz are a good three-point shooting team. Yes, that's absolutely true. However, they probably get better looks and make more threes when he's playing because teams have to focus on him. When you don't have that, I mean, you see it when the Celtics lose a guy like Jaylen Brown or one of their players doesn't play. It's easier to defend. Or look at the Warriors where, Steph Curry, he gets all that attention. And those guys are able to, like, that team was able to compete with the Lakers and really should have won that game because he gets so much attention. Those other guys get wide open looks. Donovan Mitchell's not Steph Curry, but he has the focus of the defense. Like, if you're the defense on Memphis, who do you have to focus on? No one, really. Just everyone all at once.
John Morant.
No. If you're Memphis, defending them,
I'll give you
who do you have to really focus on? Like, you don't have to overcommit to anything.
I will say, I'll give you credit. I think the Jazz would probably, I think they should still win the series regardless, but they will have a much easier time with Donovan Mitchell back. I'm curious to see how well the Grizzlies play the Jazz when Mitchell does play, because Dylan Brooks
Memphis only won by 3.
Yes.
Now, I didn't watch the game. I don't know if it was, more of a blowout than that towards the end.
No, it was very close. It was close. It was a good game.
But, I mean, it's not like they blew them out anyways. I mean, when I think you sent it today to all of us and you said, how about the Grizzlies? I was like, I'm not surprised that they won. But then, I thought about it. I was like, did they blow them out? Is that why he's bringing it up? Like, I mean, they didn't have Donovan Mitchell, so I still don't think it's a big deal that they won.
I think it is. But hey, different opinion there. I want to end the show on a sort of Celtics conspiracy theory concerning Donovan Mitchell.
Talk about Donovan Mitchell? Yeah.
Yeah, of course I am. There's some issues there, Sam, and I've got a source. Sam Sheehan, NBA. Sam Sheehan. He's a NBA reporter. He's gotten flamed for it, but he has sources. He talks to people on the team. Like he's a guy. He's pretty fine. He goes, and speaking with the source close to the situation, it's clear Mitchell has lost the locker room. There's a Rudy camp and there's a Mitchell camp. There's a Rudy. Let me finish. Let me finish. I'm not cutting you off. There's a Rudy camp and a Mitchell camp, and the latter is one guy, as in it's just Mitchell in the Mitchell camp. I take from that. The Jazz players are the Jazz players are smart. They know who sets records in Raptor DPRM, which I assume is just some defensive stat that I don't even know, and the like. One's just more valuable. It's a dynamic that, and this is not a quote anymore. This is him explaining. It's a dynamic that has been bubbling up over the last few years, and now this is a quote from a source in the locker room. Teammates thought Donovan was their best player for a long time. Then they get a chance to see these graphs and record-setting DEPM from dunks and threes, and they feel betrayed, like Mitchell stole the valor. I spoke to a Jazz rotation player on the condition on anonymity, and he states that he thinks the team might be better with Mitchell on the bench. Donovan is trying to score to get on SportsCenter. With him out, Rudy can really cook and be the defensive rating swing champ we all know he is.
Jack, are you sure that's not like a joke tweet?
I am 1,000% sure. I'm not
like that. Literally sounds like something the Barry McCockiner guy would tweet out.
Not a joke tweet.
Or like, you sure like the source isn't Rudy Gobert?
No, this is.
Are you sure like it's not him saying that? Like,
no,
wow, people are like, damn, Rudy Gobert can really cook. Yeah, with his 11 points that he scored yesterday.
I am being completely.
This is not me coming at you. It's just like what I'm hearing. and I know you just sent the tweet at 10. Get the fuck out of here. That's too late. I know you just sent the tweet, but like, come on. Nobody really thinks that, do they? I mean, I understand the point about scoring so you can get in Sports Center. I think there's a lot of players that think like that. So if he's one of them, that's a bad look. But so Rudy Gobert can cook. Cook what? He had 11 points yesterday. Donovan Mitchell being there scoring doesn't impact his defensive presence. That doesn't make any sense.
Hey, maybe this guy's fake. I read it. It's going fairly viral. I don't. This isn't the type of guy who would make a joke tweet. If his sources are wrong, that's one thing. It's just very weird. I know Donovan Mitchell was also pissed that he didn't play. Right? You know that. Oh wait.
I told you it was satire. There's no way that's not satire, Jack.
Bro, how is this his satire account? It's not like it just looks like a real account.
Jack, look at what you just read to me. What is Raptor DRPM? Nobody knows that. You think those guys in the locker room are saying, oh man, like, wow, look at that defensive stat that no one knows exists.
I guess I got baited. You want to know why I got baited? Because he's like responding to all these comments. I'm so... It's a bit? All right. I guess I got
clowned. Of course it's a bit.
I guess I got clowned. I mean, it didn't look... I don't know. Okay. I guess I got clowned. Whatever. I'll take the L. I don't know, man. I will say, though, it wouldn't...
I'm glad you brought it up because it is funny.
All right. Whatever. I will say that Donovan Mitchell was pissed after not playing. You saw that, though, right? That he was pissed with the trainer.
Yeah, they were all pissed that he didn't play.
Yeah. All right. Well, I got baited. You heard it live on From the Rafters, I suppose. But I don't know. Hey, he got me. Fair enough. I am interested to see.
No, I'm not laughing at you. I just like, I was like so certain, and you were like, "No," you had me convinced. I was like, "Really?"
Hey, he convinced me, so I convinced you. But
I was like, "Who said that? Rudy Gobert?"
Hey, I mean, he got me. I'm responding in the group chat. I mean, hey, whatever. I'm curious to see how the Donovan Mitchell situation plays out, though, because it seems like he's pissed with the team as a whole in general, though, right? Like, I mean, why would they not play him in game one?
There does seem to be turmoil. From everything I've seen today, the guys were pissed that he didn't play. Like there was definitely turmoil there.
Yeah, I want to see how it, breaks down for game two. I'm curious to see if the Grizzlies can actually fight with Donovan Mitchell in the game. Do you think they stand any chance?
Well, I think they have a chance, but I just don't think. I think it's a game changer. I mean, I think it was really even that, when they were playing without him. Like, I think the series is more even when he's not playing. Now I think it's more lopsided. This is the team that was the best team in the league for a while this year. They're at full strength.
All right. I'm curious to see how this plays out. I'm going to double down on my statement earlier in the pod. I remember the facts. Tatum 35, Kemba 20 points, holding the Nets to below 110. Celtics win game two. Sam's still clowning me for the take. I got got. I'm not
like really making fun of you. It's just mad.
Hey. I mean, hey, he completely got me. So shout out to him.
The
I remember
thing that I'm laughing about is like when you said like I'm gonna stick to my take. I was like, does he? I was like,
no.
Rudy Gobert.
No. The Barry McCockner guy you brought up. My brother
got the Skip Bayless when he said,
exactly,
man titties. That's what happened.
My brother sent me a tweet. He was like, Deshaun Watson just got traded to the Bears, and I was like, Henry, where you seen that? He goes, it's a source, and it was just Barry McCockner. I'm like, no, you did not get baited by McCockner, but I don't know. I'm excited for the rest of the NBA playoffs. They've shaped up pretty well. Hopefully, I don't get got by any more fake viral tweets, but we shall see. Thank you guys so much.
Just sending them in.
He's just roasting me. Thank you so much for listening to From the Rafters. Check out all the stuff at Bannertown USA. Check out all our work everywhere. I'll be writing for the Hornets more this offseason, covering some draft stuff for them. So go check that out at The Hive. Thank you guys for tuning in, and Sam, per usual, wrap us up.
Yes, thank you very much for listening / watching on YouTube. If you're watching on YouTube, like, share, subscribe. Make sure you come back for all the pods. Appreciate your viewership. If you're listening, subscribe or follow, whatever your app allows for you to do. You can follow Jack at Jack Simone NBA. You can follow Bannertown at Bannertown USA. Check us out on the pregame on Guy Boston Sports YouTube and Twitter. For some reason, we still have Twitter going, even though Periscope was supposed to end like 2 months ago. And also Facebook. And then, you can follow me at Sam LaFrance NBA. That's our show for the day. Bye.